Aloha, hello friends. How is everybody? Hi, my name is Jennifer and I'm from the Tonalatan Nation. I hope everyone is having a really great day today. I'm so excited because today we are celebrating the winter solstice. Yay! I am really excited also because we're going to be bringing, oh, my friend Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer. We're going to be bringing another friend of mine, Vicky, on. But right now, I wanted to talk to you all about the winter solstice and what we have for today planned for everyone. Before we get into all of that, I would like to do a welcoming prayer. So let's get that started. April, if you're available, pop on, and if not, I can kick us off in a good way. You know, when the music is playing beforehand, I really quick just wanted to tell everybody we have like a little chat beforehand before we come on live, and I was showing them like, look, I'm burning some sage because I want to say good things for this live stream and bless everything that we're going to be talking about. So I did that for us, but I want to do that for everybody. So I'm going to hand it over to April, and she's going to open us up in a good way.
Hello, everybody. Hi, world. Thank you, Sunny. That was my son. And yes, it's going to be a virtual smudge. My nephew, Daryl, is in the comments. Thank you for that. Thank you, Jen, for allowing us to do a prayer at the beginning of this. Have a lot of different things going on in the background. I'm working from home, and you might hear different things: a baby crying, or somebody laughing, or just all that. But we're going to go ahead and get this prayer started. Um, you hear the music? So sorry about the doorbell. Okay, here we go. Creator, we come to you today with open hearts and open minds, thankful for the many blessings that you provide us on a minute, monthly, second basis, from the ability to walk, talk, be here today to gather virtually on this amazing, important day, winter solstice, December 21st. May you guide this program with little to no technical issues. Please know that this is a live event, so there might be technical issues, but Creator, I know you got us. And we're going to be having a great conversation. So to Creator, I ask that you watch over the many relatives that are watching today and that might not be watching. Creator, I ask that you keep my community, my family, my grandchildren, my daughter, keep them healthy, wealthy, and safe, Creator. May today's day of honoring winter solstice be a time where we can reflect and know that our ancestors are where their wildest dreams are watching over us. And although we might be missing them because we might be grieving, or we might be everybody has things that they're going through. I know that for a fact, but yet we still got to go and um, do make bills and make payments and all that things. So Creator, I ask that you allow this time that we're going to share today right here. May somebody walk away with feeling loved, knowing that they're going to be prayed for, because I'm praying for them now. That they have a sense that they're here for the right reasons, and that they're healed, that they will hear something now, or maybe even in the future with future podcast. Creator, I'm thankful for your love, your light, and your beauty. Ta'a pilamayaye, gracias, etiehe, Jonas Slay, Jonas Slay, Jonas Slay, Jonas Slay. Thank you. The end.
Thank you, April. That was awesome. I feel uplifted. And I had a thought while you were praying that someone was like tuning in and also feeling really good about your words. And I hope that they uplift because I know that this time of year can be very difficult, and I'm one of those people that's kind of going through it. So yeah, I appreciate it, and I really take your words to heart. So we started with our prayer, which is always something that we do, and now we're going to do the land acknowledgement, which I believe I will be doing. Is that correct, April? Because I don't see Justine right yet. Is that correct?
Well, here
The
she
boo.
is.
Oh, there she is! Yay! Celebrate! She's here. Oh yeah!
I know. Hi, everyone. My name is Justine Medina. I am Dene, Ho Chunk, Winnebago, and Menominee, as you can see. I'm calling in from Daly City, California. I just want to take this time just to do a land acknowledgement. And just really reflect on who were the original caretakers of your land. I know I myself, I'm a settler here on Ohlone territory, and I just think about the ancestors that that came before me and that took care of this land. And it's my duty to also give back to it and take care of the community that's here too. And just everyone, just take a quick moment just to think about the original caretakers and just say thank you for allowing us to be here.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We got all the business taken care of. We did our prayer. We did our land acknowledgement. And now we're going to talk about what we're going to talk about today, which is the winter solstice. And really quick, I wanted to talk about. Oh, April, I'm sorry. Go ahead, April.
Before I wanted to, where's the hand emoji where I can just put my hand up? Before we bring in our special guest, I do just want to make sure that we are just in collaboration and working together to bring resources and information and community wellness to our community. And it's important to me, Avro Cordova with AC and Associates, to do that. And we'd like to acknowledge our partnering organizations, Paul from PowWows.com, Native Muse Production, Phoenix Indian Center, and our intern moderators that are helping us in the background, Elise and Adriana. They have helped us make today's Honoring Winter Solstice event possible. And we also want to thank you for watching. And if you're watching now in the live or in the replay, thank you for checking in, for watching, for commenting, for sharing. Don't forget to join us for the next live event in January. I also wanted to say, Hio Homi Takiape, Avro Cordovi, Machiape, Malakota, and Tas Pueblo. My Tama is Joseph Conquilla Cordova. My Ina and my cause, Patricia Crow Cordova. I'm 6th generation from Chief Red Cloud. I'm the owner operator of AC and Associates. I'm a mother, daughter, community member, grandmother, and I'm just very thankful to have you all here. I just wanted to throw our collaborators in before we got started in the chat, but go ahead, Jen.
Great, thank you. And I didn't really introduce myself. I just was like, "You're on." So, hi, Skuktash, Adinap Sukik, Jennifer Varenchak, Aniat Thonatham. Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning. Or if you're watching in the replay, good evening. My name is Jennifer Varenchak. I'm from the Thonatham Nation, and I am streaming in from the illegally occupied Kingdom of Hawaii, and I'm on the island of Oahu in Kaneohe, and I'm really happy to be here today to have a chance to talk about the winter solstice. I myself traditionally only know, I just know like very little from the Tohono side of what this day, why is it so significant? But I do know more on the scientific basis of like, what is today? What does it mean? What is the winter solstice? And we can get into that after we bring. Oh, we're going to show a picture, hopefully. I was doing a little bit of research last night on tell me more about the winter solstice. And so I'm going to picture, and I'm going to read to you something that I found. So imagine that the Earth is like a spinning top, and as it goes around the sun, there are times when one part of the Earth gets more sunlight than the other. The winter solstice is like the moment when the North Pole is tilted farthest away from the sun. On the day of the winter solstice, which is usually happens around December 21st, the northern hemisphere experiences the shortest day and the longest night of the year. It's like the sun takes the lower and shorter path across the sky, and we have less daylight. After the winter solstice, the days start to get longer again because the North Pole starts to tilt back towards the sun. So, in a nutshell, the winter solstice marks the beginning of winter and the point where we start getting more sunlight each day. And then it ends with the cool, right? So, yeah, it is pretty cool. You can see on the bottom here the path of the sun. And let's see, I'm going to remove myself so you can see a little bit more of the picture for a second. Like what's happening today. All right, so we got that part out of the way. Now it is my pleasure and honor and a gift to be able to introduce our guest for today. Um, I don't even know where to start with Vicky because I've known her for quite some time. Her name is Vicky. I'm going to let her come on here and introduce herself. But I just want to say she has been very instrumental in helping me in various areas of my life, both professionally and personally. And today she's here to talk about her the winter solstice and of course her podcast, which is Real Native Roots Untold Stories. So I'm gonna bring her on here and I'm gonna let her introduce herself and then we're gonna have a chat. So let's bring Vicky on. I'm so excited to see her. And I think we all know her in different capacities. Yay! Hi, Vicky.
Hello, yat a yat a yat a.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes, yat a. I know there's a lot of Navajos out there. Hey, it's good things to you. Good greetings. She ya Vicky Oldman Wenchia. My name is Vicky Oldman. Sana Ginny Nishla Ishni Bashichin Hana Aneda Shache, but Aneda Shanala. We're a matriarchal society, so my first clan is Black Sheep, the First People, born for Mud People. My grandfather on my mother's side is one who walks around, and my grandfather on my father's side is Folding Arm People. Those are the four clans I said in Navajo, and all of that makes me the woman that I am today. And just so excited about being here with three amazing, beautiful women. So thank you so much for your prayer and opening the space with Smudge. But also just thanking all the people who made today happen, people who are sponsoring, people who are behind the scenes and making this opportunity to just share, discuss, and bring light to people. So thank you all so much.
Yay! So I first of all want to say I am a fan of your podcast. Um, I listened to some episodes last night just so that I could like refresh my memory, and I really enjoyed the one with Brian and his
Mhm.
wife and his
Yeah,
story, and I was like, it's very similar to my story.
yeah.
And I wondered if you thought that when you were listening to him, but it's just like every time I hear your podcast, I always have like warmness in my heart. And it just I
Mhm.
always um leave the show or end listening to it with just like a good feeling in my heart. And so if you haven't heard of her podcast, please listen to it. Vicki, my first question for you is, what inspired you to get your podcast going?
Thank you, Jen. Thank you for being a listener. I appreciate that. Oh gosh, it's funny how things fall into place. And the podcast actually wasn't something I was like, I want to be a podcaster. Nothing like that. I don't know anything about like audio media. However, am always on Instagram and Facebook posting little stories. And anyway, this gentleman from Texas, him and I did a gig one time in Maryland. And he followed my Instagram stories and he had said, Vicki, you really should think about doing a podcast. I was like, I didn't even know what a podcast was. I was like, what is that? So I started to Google and research, and I realized, oh, this is so cool. And I just started kind of following just random podcasters and listening to them. And then it was, this is what I believe universe does for us, creator, in that when someone gives you an idea and it sticks with you and it stays with you and it can't get out of your head, it's like you need to explore that. And I kept thinking, what would I talk about? I can't talk about all the pictures I post on my food pictures. Lame-o, right? I was like, what would I talk about? So then I really feel like the inspiration is from my grandmother, my Nully, my dad's mother. The reason why is one of my, a lot of us natives have nicknames, several nicknames. And so I had several nicknames. And one was the girl with many questions. She would call me that. And every time I go see her, I would always ask Nully, even when I was growing up, I asked questions like, well, how come we have to do this? And why do we have to do this with the sheep? And why do we have to go pick this plant? It was just always curiosity. And anyway, before she left this plane, one of my favorite stories is I took my boys to go see her, and we're sitting there and she's like already prepared. She's sitting there and has her blanket on the couch. And then we all come in after we do our greetings and hugs and talks. She says to me in Navajo, all right, granddaughter, what questions do you have for me today? So she was like ready to hold space to share. And I think that's, tying into where we're at right now, into the phase that we're in. Thank you so much for showing the picture in terms of winter, right? That's what she was all about, was story. And she shared story. And I thought, well, here's a platform to capture those untold stories, all the stories that I didn't get, to capture from my grandmother that I wish that I did, and there was stories that my mom or my dad would share, and I never got tired of them. I'm like, Mom, tell me that story when you guys went to the dump yard to get that, to get your toys because they were so poor. And it was a funny story actually, because she said, there was her and her siblings. My aunt, the youngest aunt, was digging down into the dump yard. Because they said that's where all the good toys were. And so she was way down there, and everybody was looking around. And then the aunt says, let's go to Dairy Queen. So they all hop in the back of the truck and they go to Dairy Queen. And then they realize, where's Auntie so-and-so, the sister. She comes up with the doll, but no Dairy Queen. She was crying. And it was just telling stories. So anyway, that's a long-winded response in that it didn't come to me right away. Someone has suggested it. And then I thought, and then, I thought about all the stories that I didn't capture from my grandmother and wanted to capture them and have people just share who they are. Because I feel like everybody has a story. We all have a story. We all have lessons. We're all teachers. And that we all have some medicine that we can share with one another. And it's never too late. I always tell folks, get those stories now from your relatives, because that's what's going to sustain us. That's what's going to help us stay grounded.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Oh my gosh, I love that story. That's it's funny. I can imagine her. No Dairy Queen.
No Dairy Queen for Auntie. Yep.
So today we're here talking about, it is the winter solstice. I know various tribes have various significance about this day, certain ceremonies, things that they would do. And this is just not just for Vicky, but also for Justine. Are there any things about today or winter solstice that you'd like to share?
Well, it's interesting, and I appreciate you also sharing transparency, Jennifer, earlier about like, well, I know very little, right, about from your tribe, but I do know some. And I also just wanted to acknowledge all of us here on the space is that when we don't practice and we don't offer gentleness in terms of gifting what we do know, and even the practice of introducing ourselves, right? If we don't practice those things, then it's not going to be passed on. And so I appreciate you sharing your honesty, sort of where we're at, but also practicing what you do know, because I think that's what's important. And that's a long way of me saying what I do remember growing up. I don't remember relatives saying it's, winter solstice. They didn't use those terminologies. They were, and it was the time, a season when there were certain ceremonies that were happening, night ceremonies, night dances, and night songs and night prayers. But they never, and when you're young, like when I was little, even though I asked all those questions, my grandmother would say like, well, you're not old enough to know. She didn't say it that way. She just says, not yet, you won't know, and sometimes I'd be like, and now I get it though, because now that I'm a mother and I'm older, I'm like, yeah, even if she told me that, it would have just went over my head. I would not, because I didn't have enough life experience to understand the meaning of certain prayers, didn't have the understanding of why the ceremony was this way. Now that I'm older, I'm like, yeah, grandma definitely was wise in that sense. So there was definitely, I just remember when we go to certain ceremonies at night outside, it was always cold, and they have the yebiches dancing. But this is also a time when they would tell stories, coyote stories, the stories of how we came to be on this planet in terms of being at the fourth world, right? Those were my favorite. Of course, everybody has coyote stories. And we would always ask our grandmother, when I stay with her, my aunties, tell us the creation story. And in Navajo, she's, you guys are just going to go to sleep, because it could take up to 4 days to tell that story. And so during this time, that's what comes to me is story, being in ceremony. It was a time of like, I feel like also just kinship of like people coming together, eating, and just talking. So interesting enough, yesterday I was back home on the res, and my aunties all came together and we butchered a sheep. It's a big deal when I'm like, God, I'm out of practice. I'm sore today. We were there, and after we were eating, we're sitting in my dad's living room. We're sitting there eating and just talking, and the visitors would come. And I remember when visitors would come, that was before we had the phone. You could hear a vehicle from way from the road. You knew someone was coming, and they say, they in Navajo, somebody's coming. So then my grandmother would say, turn on the coffee pot, Anyway, we were sitting there and just talking, and there was silence. Every now and then people are just kind of like in reflection. And I thought in my mind, like, this is so beautiful. It brought me back to being a young child, when the ancestors, my grandparents and my aunts and my uncles were all just sit and we just talk about local politics or who's upcoming in ceremony. But then there was silence. You could just like hear the fireplace. And then there was no sense of urgency. In this space now, it feels like we have to fill in the space all the time. And people were very comfortable with silence. It was like second nature, right? So when I think about this time of period, I think about it's the time of reflection, storytelling. I remember my grandfather would tell his children, my aunts and my uncles, about next planting season, what he's going to do differently, how he's going to plant. or maybe that the land needs to rest and they have to go somewhere else. So it was a time, back then they're not like, let's debrief, let's reflect. It was just more, right? They knew like, this is what we did this year. This is what we harvest. And how are we going to go into the new year and thinking about planting season? So it's a lot of learning, I feel, that happened, that was just very natural. That's what sustained us, right? You think about that. This time of year was when a lot of, I know, when hearing from stories across the country in terms of different tribes, this is the time they did storytelling, ceremonies, songs, but also when they were working on their beadwork, their dresses, and doing moccasins. So there was a lot that was happening, even though we were in a space of quietness, calmness, wrapping up and thinking about how we're going to go into the new year. So that's a lot. I'll just stop there for a little bit.
No, it is, but I really appreciate everything you said, and like I was nodding along because I was like, same for us, meaning Tonoatam. So before I say anything else, I wanted to throw it to Justine if you wanted to chime in or have any questions.
Yeah, thanks for letting me chime in. I appreciate everything you shared. I definitely, for me, I grew up away from community and visit every now and then. So winter solstice wasn't really something like, oh, this is what the practice is about. So I'm definitely here soaking a lot in from different like community members, and very grateful from like social media too, to start to learn and ask more questions about what winter solstice is. And especially I resonated with you when you said like when you're younger, you really don't, it's not going to connect. But now that I'm older and I'm a mom, it really connects like what winter solstice means and see what seasons mean, and just really like that time to reflect and relax. And I think that's something that I really take from winter solstice. It's definitely a shorter day. So just how to relax during this time. I think that's the hardest part, like how to really relax and really reflect. But yeah, I appreciate everything you said, and wanted to be vulnerable too about like what my knowledge is. Very limited. Winter solstice.
Yeah, for sure. I wanted to say I didn't really know much about winter solstice, or never even like considered it at all until I started being more active in the Los Angeles Native American community. And then, especially, I want to give a shout out to our friend Eric Sanchez, who he used to have a winter solstice gathering every year. And that's really what kind of put it on my radar. And sometimes, some years it was kind of like a larger gathering, and sometimes it was a smaller gathering. But that's what really put it on the map for me, was going to his winter solstice gatherings. And April, I'm so glad that you're back. So we just went around and we're sharing kind of like about our winter solstice. And so if there's anything that you would like to share, I'll hand it off to you when it comes to, because I saw you nodding about Eric's winter solstice gathering. So please chime in.
Thank you. I mean, hearing all of what you guys, I'm listening to you in the background. I had to take care of some tech issues in the back, but I am seriously enjoying this conversation and just being able to listen to the different levels that we all have, right? That we're not all, we don't all know it. Sometimes we do. I always say it's never too late to learn. And I actually want to also thank Eric for hosting many of those in-person gatherings. I also want to thank Return to Heart Foundation. For the past 2 summers, I've had the honor of gathering for summer solstice with my sisters at Return to Heart Foundation. I'm a grantee for the Return to Heart Traditional Helpers and Healers Grant, and with this grant comes a great sisterhood. So preparing for this event, I received the Return to Heart newsletter, and it had a great Winter Solstice 2023 article, which I'll bring up a picture later, but the article totally put what I was thinking in my head in words in front of me, and which I would like to share with you what it said. So on the newsletter, it said, our indigenous ancestors knew the seasons, the sun, the celestial bodies, and marked time with winter solstice being a time for rest, reflection, restoration, a time with family. Today, many of us with kids, nieces, nephews, siblings, and so many relatives are carrying the stress of the hustle and bustle of the holiday season. And I would like to put in everyday life. As we embrace our cultural values, restore and revitalize, decolonize this season, we can hold on the wisdom and the teaching of our ancestors and take time to rest, whether it's gathering with family, friends, for yummy traditional foods, beading, sewing, cultural arts, time together outside or inside playing games. They challenge all of us to remember that this time is for us. Today, December 21st is winter solstice, and this winter solstice on December 21st, cuddle under the blanket, drink some native tea, burn some sage or cedar, feel the strength and love of your ancestors that are so proud of your resilience and love for the generations you're caring for and for those yet to come. When I read that newsletter, I was like, oh my gosh, that what I was thinking and gathering here today, and like I was telling the group earlier, and I'm going to be very transparent because I know a lot of people can connect with that. Yesterday, I had a meltdown on my carpet floor I'm at my daughter's house. My granddaughter had got some makeup on the carpet. She's 5 years old. She was trying to put makeup on her doll. And I got down on the floor and I was cleaning the carpet, and I have a sprained toe, a sprained 2 toes, and my knees are really bad, and I had a hard time getting up. So I sat there, and my grandson was all, it's okay, grandma, just sit there and do your work on the floor. And I was like, okay. And they said, my daughter and her husband were out shopping, and I just started to tear up. Tears just started to come, and I was like, I can't do the same things that I can do before, but what I can do is listen to my grandson or my granddaughter sit here and say, I love you, or come give me a hug. And then my daughter came home, and my son-in-law came home, and he helped me up. And it's just getting older, but also remembering, like, my Aslu, my grandma, or my mom, those people that we really sat, we would play games, we would play cards and drink tea. My grandma would share stories with us, or my cousins. And, this time right now visiting really is a reflection of what I really wanted to happen today. And that newsletter, reading that newsletter, and I asked Gina Jackson, for permission to read that. And it just was like everything that I wanted today to be about was happening. Yet I had this meltdown, but then listening also to Vicky's podcasts last night, it got me through so much, and knew that what I took away, and I told her this earlier, is trust the process, and just go ahead and go with the flow and understand what you've learned, what I've learned from my teachers, and what I'm still learning. I try to pass on to my grandkids, my takojas, and we were, every day when I'm here, I smudge, and they always remember that. And I love that they'll, start counting in our language. And, I'll say, ha'a hama to my granddaughter, and it means thank you, okay? And she'll be like, hama hama, like that. It's just so funny, but she intakes that. And I just am so thankful to be in a place today, right now, where we can talk about this. And I've had a long year. I've had ups and downs, but I'm so really glad to hear, Vicky, what you have to say, Justine, what you have to say, Jen, what you have to say, and I'm thankful for the individuals just listening today. That's it, the end.
I love it. I wanted to go back earlier to what you had said. Thank you for sharing your story. And I know that a lot of people who will listen or are listening know that we're human, right? And that and crying is good medicine to release whatever has been holding. And also it's a beautiful thing when we have relatives near us, little, even fur babies, they know and feel us, and that they give us their love to just heal. And part of this time of being together with family is that we forget about the connection of being with relatives. That in itself is healing. When we cook together, that is healing. You know, I was telling you all earlier that yesterday we were butchering. My dad the night before got everything ready. He got like the wood ready. He got things all prepared. That is an act of love, because, you know, once we burn that fire is going to cook the food and feed us. And so everything we did, as I was thinking about that this morning, was all about love. And that is medicine that feeds us. So the tea that you sit with your grandma drinking, the story, the connection. Earlier, though, you had said, like, and I really want to emphasize this. I think this is so important for all of us, especially being Indigenous these days. And, you know, we're trying to reclaim back our language and our ways, and how we've tried to sustain ourselves and continue to sustain ourselves. Is that you had said we all can't know it all, and we can't, and that we all have pieces to the puzzle, and part of us is feeling safe and comfortable enough to, here's my piece, right? Here's the version of the story I know. And that we also have to honor each one about when people are trying, um, especially when they have, maybe they know a piece of the story, but that's all they know. That's okay. It's one piece of it. I feel like sometimes we're hard on each other, and we put down each other, like, well, that's not how we said it, or that's not how we do it. You know, it's true to them because that is their true experience. And I think we have to come from a place of like love, compassion, grace, and knowing, like, you know, we're here to support each other. And this is the other part of the story that I learned, and come from that space. So I really want to emphasize that, because I think it's important for us to be aware that we don't know it all, that we all have pieces, and that we need to lift each other and help heal each other in this time of rest and reflection.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I also, you know, going back to winter solstice or even summer solstice, and like I had mentioned, I learned these past 2 summers about summer solstice, and I wanted to share, you know, return to hearts, just love, because, you know, as a grantee, they believed in me for something that I wanted to do last year. And it just is always just great to have such beautiful individuals, a sisterhood around me, just like today, or even with Return to Heart. You know, I'm just thankful that they're accepting of me as an individual. I don't know everything, and I don't claim to know everything, but I also am a student, so I'm still learning daily. But I just wanted to also say thank you to Return to Heart for that newsletter that touched me in so many ways and was able to express what I had in my mind. And also, I'm just thankful to sit today here with you all. So yeah, thank you.
Wonderful. I was like leaning in and looking at that picture. I'm like, who else do I know in there? Because whenever you get a group of Indigenous women together, you're always bound to like, I know someone or I'm related to somebody. So, you know, talking about the winter solstice and reflection, I wanted to share two things really quick. The first is I remember in Los Angeles we had a O'odham group, and it wasn't just on O'odham. It was also Salt River and Gila River, and anyone that was O'odham that was in the Los Angeles area, we used to meet. And I'm not sure if they still do, but I know that we used to. And I didn't know, but I remember when Naomi Miguel, when she was in college and she was in the living in the Los Angeles area, she brought a lot of knowledge. And our older members of the group, we wanted to have like a story night where they would not only tell us traditional stories, but like share stories from their personal lives, you know. And I remember thinking, like, you know, we could do it in the spring or summer. And then Naomi was like, oh, no, you can't do that until it's winter. Like, winters when you do story time. And I remember going like, oh, and like, tell me more. And, you know, she was able to educate me on that. And that was like really eye opening, and kind of like the beginning of a little bit of like the road for education through Naomi. And then the other thing that I wanted to share is last night, um, Glenn, my partner here, he has a karaoke machine, and he was singing. We started out singing Christmas songs, right? And I wasn't really singing with him. It's stored in our bedroom because we just don't have any room in the rest of our house right now, and it's been sitting there for a while. And so he just decided like randomly, like, I'm gonna do this, and so he started doing it. I'm busy doing a variety of things, wrapping presents, walking in and out, but he kind of like stopped me and he was like, sing with me. So we sang Last Christmas, you know, wham. And then I went back to work, and then he was singing a song and he started tearing up. And it turned out that it was a very important song to him because it was a song that his mother sang to him. And then I was like, my turn, my turn. And I sang a song that was really important to me from my father. And then I'm tearing up. So now we're both like teary, but like happy tears, you know? And I wanted to tell you the story. It's a Christmas song by Nat King Cole. You know, chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Okay. So the reason why that song is so important to me is because when they recorded that song, my dad worked at Capitol Records, and they recorded it in the middle of the summer in Los Angeles. And they made everybody in the office, they turned up the air conditioner, and they made everybody in the office put on like warm clothes, warm sweaters, so it would feel wintry. So when he came in to sing, Nat King Cole came in to sing, it was winter, had like a winter vibe. And every time that song came on when I was younger, um, my dad would tell us the story. And, you know, after a while, I'd be like, oh, hey, yeah, we heard. I know you wore sweaters, you know. but my dad isn't here anymore. So I'm getting teary right now. But like that to me is like when the tears were coming, I was like, he's here. He's here now. You know, he's here with us. And I feel like it's appropriate to tell the story because it is like today's the day that we share. You know, we share our stories. So I wanted to share that with you all because it was like such a good like moment, and now I have like another memory to add to like all my Christmas, winter, solstice memories. So all right, I'm going to pass it on to whoever wants to speak next. So I got my eyes.
I
Very
love it.
transparent here, though, with my happy tears.
I love it because again, it just validates that stories do heal. I mean, when I think about my podcast, that was the other reason is I've learned through just even my work that when we tell story, you know, we're reconnecting, right? We're kind of going back and we're feeling it in our bodies, you know, the somatic work that um, I think is becoming more and more important. We as Indigenous people already knew that. Like we knew when we go to ceremony, we release, we pray, we talk about where we're at, we talk about the issues, we pray about it, we cry about it, we sing about it, and we honor each other. We don't shame when we're in that space. And that's what we're doing. We were healing, we're releasing. And you know, so to have happy tears and to tell story, your body is like, yes. And I've also heard that from another relative from a different tribe who, because I was emotional one time, and she said that means your people are by you, you know. And so that felt so good because it made me feel strong when I was releasing, you know, that and not be ashamed about it. And so anyway, just again, validation about this time of story. It's about learning, right? What are the learnings that we've had? Because when I'm in this space, I'm thinking about, God, 2023, what was my strongest learning? What was the learning I had that was like, ouch, but also, you know, a funny learning. And the last podcast, I don't know if you noticed, I did one with this well-known woman, Rebecca Adamson. I've been going on motorcycle rides a lot, and I've been just like all over the place. And anyway, I was like ready, had everything all set up. And that lesson taught me that I was going too fast. I really try to like meditate a little bit, breathe, have everything ready, have some water. I'm in a good place, have my notes. But that one, I was like fast. I was just, going too fast. Then we start recording. And then all of a sudden I said, Rebecca, I'm not recording. And because she had heard the whole intro, I was talking about my motorcycle journey, blah, 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 blah. And then she goes, man, you're still on that bike. So funny. So that was a learning for me this year. I'm like, I'm going all over the place. I need to slow down a little bit. That's one of my biggest learnings this year. But also the other big learning that I had for this year is taking risks. I jumped in. I'm gonna do this, and we'll see where we're at. So I think it's a beautiful thing to just like tell story for learnings, and that's where those animals, right? We learn from the coyote, and I don't know what tribe you were sharing that you're only supposed to say in the wintertime. It's the same for us. We only talk about those stories during the winter because that's when the animals are asleep, so they don't hear us talking about them. So we can hear the lessons from them. Yeah, that's they're
I love
sleeping.
that.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool. I didn't know that. Thank you. See, we're learning together.
Jen, going back to what you had said about the song, oh, hi.
Jaden, hi.
Sorry, I've been listening to everything, but we've had a little guest come in the room and it's a great kitchen. And all of this has really taught me, like, just as this year being a mother, it's been a lot of learning and adjusting and patience. But I'm super excited that we're doing this and like wonder how I can start incorporating like just our own like little ceremony for Jaden growing up and to keep Solstice centered in our family during this time. But just want to say you're listening with Jaden.
He's so big now. Wow.
So cute. Thank you, Justine, for that. I love seeing kids. Earlier, my grandson was here, like I said, working from home, but it's a family thing. We should always be teaching. And I'm glad that Justine was able to come on. And Justine, if you need any help, I can help you as much as I can. And, I look forward to you having something for him because we all need that. And if you know about it, you should, do it. I say that about my grandkids. I need to take them back home to Taos, and my auntie keeps saying, you got to come home. You got to come home. And I'm like, I know, auntie. But then there's the hustle and bustle of life out here. And I'm also a caretaker for my father-in-law who has dementia. So just trying to take care of that as well. But going back to songs, Jen, one of the songs that during this time when I hear it is Feliz Navidad. And that reminds me of my mom because I always remember her. I just went to a community powwow last week, Saturday. And I love that somebody was handing out a paper bag with apples and oranges and the hard nuts that you crack with the nutcracker. I was like, this is what we used to get in our stockings. But Feliz Navidad, my mom, I always remember her laying in bed listening to the radio. And when that song came on for her, she would say, now I know it's Christmas. So every Christmas when I hear it, I always think of my mom. And also just talking about music, we have interns that are helping us with this event. And one of them, I always do like, I do a lot of facilitating and youth workshops, and I'm always looking for music. So when they came on, this is my third time having a different set, but when they came on, I'm like, choose music that I can use when I go. It has to be clean, but choose it. And, one of the interns was like, but I don't really listen to today's type of music. I listen to, what I like. And I was like, that's okay. I want to hear it. I want to hear it. So we're going to share in the comments the Spotify playlist that you can go connect to that she made. And I love it because it's like Depeche Mode. It's like The Cure. It's like all of these great music lists. So I just wanted to share that with you because music can heal as well. I was listening to it this morning when I was getting ready for today, and I was like, I love this playlist, and it's just something. I mean, my playlist is totally different from everybody else's. I am very much eclectic. I like country, powwow. I like everything. But please visit the Spotify playlist and check it out. That's it, Diane.
How cool. Awesome. Yay. I'll have to check it out for sure. Anyone else want to share? Vicki, you talked about like the things that you had learned this year, like a hard lesson. You got me thinking like, what were my lessons this year? The only thing that I've really in reflection for the year was like I started thinking about what are my top pictures I'm going to share? Like, how you do like the end of the year pictures? Yes. That's as far as I've gotten. So.
Right. What are the lessons that we've learned? But also it's making me think about next year in terms of like, what could be possible in the next year without limited beliefs. I'm like well known for like going in these little rabbit holes where I start thinking, well, that's not going to work, overthinking. And I'm thinking in 2024, okay, based on what I learned in this year, which, was like taking risk in different parts of my life and just going with it and not stressing out. And I think also this year, the past couple of years, like I've lost different people in my life that I just love and adore. And it also made me realize, and I would hear people tell me since I was yay high, life is short. Now that I'm older, yeah, life is really short. And I really want to like, going 2024, I don't want to overthink things. I just want to do and continue to follow my intuition, continue to do the things that I know that kept me grounded and has kept me grounded in terms of like prayer. In speaking of music, I'm like all over the place, but when you're saying music is healing, it is. And I remember, my dad and my mom, and I've heard other elders and relatives say, if you at least know one native song, learn a native, like for me, Navajo, right? Not Navajo song, a peyote song, learn some kind of indigenous song that is really powerful and it's grounding. And so just to take a little step at, in terms of language, so a story, even how you introduce yourself is something as simple as that, that we practice that. And so going forward, I'm thinking about what I've learned this year and where I want to go. I want to do more of my podcasting. I'm putting it out there in the universe. I want to do more of my podcasting. I do it as a side because I love it. And I really want to be more consistent and actually want to carve out time during my work week, every, I don't know, throwing it out there, like every Friday morning, to do some learning and to do more intentionality of finding grants or, money that's out there that can support this. So I'm doing less of my other job and doing what I love to do. And that's capturing wisdom from people from all over, relatives from all over. So yeah, but putting it out there.
Put it out there, girl. Put it out there. I'm a big believer in that. Put it out there.
Put it out there, but also, Vicki, if you can share with the audience who you've had on, because last night listening to them, I know you've had a lot of different people, but there are some amazing individuals that have wisdom. So please share with some people, maybe if off the top of your head.
Jan's on there.
Yeah.
Jan actually was, she was the first practice of I did a video because I really believe in audio And so I just do the audio podcast, but when I do the recording, it's Zoom so we can see each other. And I asked Jen, can I do a video podcast with you? And mainly I did it strategically because, you know, she has a great presence on the video, and because she's in the, you know, she's in the movie industry. So I'm like, you know, so people know who she is. That's the only one I did, but all the other ones I've done is audio. Lots of
Oh,
native leaders. My mom, everybody loves my mom's story. She was on there with people from different tribes, some folks who are healers, storytellers themselves. So every year, so in January, I'm going to do a recap. So I always do a recap of the year. So this January, I'll be doing a recap of 2023 of all the guests and what we learned from them. And usually one of the listeners will be the person that I'm going to be invited. So I found a listener who's willing to recap 2023. So I'm excited about that. Yeah. So folks who are listening, if you have a story and you want to share your medicine, hit me up at Real Native Roots Untold Stories. I'd love to get your story. And the other really cool thing that happened is a friend of mine had said, can you capture my dad's story? He said, I don't want it on Real Native Roots, but I'll hire you to just, you know, get my dad's story. So I had like 4 or 5 sessions, and he went way back, like his great grandparents, his parents, and he saved it so he could give it to his grandkids and his nieces and nephews. And so they would have the story about, you know, where they come from and their roots. So I thought that was beautiful. Yeah.
yeah. What a gift for the future generations of his family to be to have that, you know. So many families we didn't have a chance to do that. And I think that's really beautiful that you're able to do that and get that for them. That's great. Oh, how's everyone
I
feeling?
know, right? It's like a deep breath, like it feels so good.
I definitely feel a lot lighter than I did first coming in. So I really appreciate this whole conversation. I hope all of the listeners who are tuning in is able to reflect on things, and I hope they all feel lighter too. I felt lighter starting with the prayer. So the whole conversation, I'm extra light.
Yeah, you know, the one thing, thank you for saying that, because it made me think about, given that we're talking about where we're at in a place of reflection, it also made me really think about I really miss my grandmother. I only had one grandmother on my dad's side. My grandmother, my mom's side, passed away when my mom was young. So I had my grandmother. She was the only one that really taught me, and my grandfather. And I'm sure a lot of our indigenous people had this same experience, but every time we would leave, when it's time to go home, we would all be in the space, and she would give like this love talk. It was kind of like a stern love talk. And she would say to us all the time, take care of yourself. This is all in Navajo. You know, take care of your mind, take care of your body, what you put in there, what you think about. Take care of your companion, take care of your children, take care of your home, you know, make sure your home is clean around the home, you know, take care of your animals. Like she would just kind of go, and in the end, you know, she'd say, like, it's all up to you. It's all up to you and how you walk about, and just to be careful what we say. And so it's, you know, yesterday we're leaving, my dad and my aunties. I had missed that from my grandmother, because she was like the one that held us all together and said those things out of love. And, you know, I feel like to some degree, I don't know, her, I kind of do that with my kids. You know, you guys behave yourself, you know, make good choices. You know, drink enough water, you know, whatever I have to say. But I guess I'm saying that to everyone who's listening, you know, to take care of yourself, to love yourself, to give yourself some grace, you know, to think about some of the learnings. And every day we have a new opportunity to do something different, you know, even if it's a little change, you know, and to love your people around you. your parents, your children, your friends, your fur babies. Thankful for home, the food that we eat. There's so much that we have gratitude for that we forget about. And so I say that with love and compassion, but also some sternness in that, it's all up to you. It's up to you. Yeah. So.
Sure.
I love that. Thank you. I know. I really want to say thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing. I want to encourage individuals to listen to you. It really helped me last night. I know that Justine, you wanted to share on the, you wanted to share something. The journalism scholarship.
Yeah. So I didn't mention this earlier, but I'm the program manager at Indigenous Journalists Association. And right now we have a scholarship opened. It's for NYU. And it's for Indigenous students. You have to be an IJA member at the time you accept the fellowship, but it's a graduate program and it's fully funded. So it's fully funded. So just apply, like living costs and everything like that. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. But yeah, thank you. Just wanted to put that plug in.
Yeah,
for
Sure. We need
and
more.
it's up to you. I mean, just exactly what Vicky said. It's up to you if you're thinking about journalism. If you're going to school, I went to one semester of high school, but I know that I pray for individuals that are getting higher education. It's expensive. It's it can be lonely too. Especially if you go off to different places. Justine, I know that you were sharing about your Denver University. I saw you had posted, and being in the Los Angeles area, I've had a great connection in the past with UCLA students and the alumni there. I know that they do a lot of great things to connect their Indigenous people. So, that's what I want to say. I don't know, Justine, if you have other things or want to chime in about that.
No, but now that I think about that, like I didn't think that was gonna get a lot of likes. Then it did, or attention because it was so short. But I think the biggest thing that like I reflected on that time at DU feels like such a long time ago, and it's something I gotta like embrace now. Is like that was a time in my life where I didn't believe in myself, and when a lot of people around believed in me, and I didn't realize it until I made that post where I was just like, everyone around me, Indigenous and some non-Indigenous community members, really believed in me and really hyped me up. And I was like, dang, I don't think I'm that special, but yeah, but a lot of people like really like recognized that I had something important to say and really like valued my opinion and my insight. And yeah, I think definitely higher education is a place where it just you grow also in life too. But yeah, reflecting on that, just think about that too. And that made me think about like who in my life believes in me more than I believe in myself, and I should just reach out to them when I'm feeling down. And that's y'all.
I was gonna say, I hope you count me.
Yeah.
And let me know if you want me to like be tough and like, what are you talking about? Get up, come on, or if you want me to be loving, like, oh, teeny, you can do it. I respond to both, but loving is probably better.
And it's good that you say that too, because earlier we were mentioning filling that space. Vicky, I know that's something that you had said, having to fill the space, having to be talking all the time, having to be doing something, always busy. And Jen is one of my closest girlfriends. We can be in the same space and not even be talking. And I have a relationship with like that with a lot of my close knit girlfriends. I can text them and not text them for like 3 months, but not be mad about us not getting connected, because life happens. And once we start connecting again, then we just meet up. And I also do have some individuals that reach out and say, hey, let's go to lunch or let's go to dinner, or, you know, shout out to, you know, my friends and family that are checking in, because this time of season, yes, it's a time to reflect, but then it's also a time that I know a lot of people are struggling with. I just want to, you know, I always feel like I'm that happy go-to person that always has a smile, that's positive. But during this last couple of months, I've had a hard time. You know, I've had a hard time, and I'm just thankful that I have those individuals around me, that can reach out, just like what you're saying, to encourage me. And Jen is one of those people. So thank you all, ladies, for being here. Thank you for reflecting today. Thank you for, you know, saying what's on our heart. And, you know, I just want to make sure that everybody out there knows that don't be afraid to reach out to somebody. I mean, I feel like I don't want to post things that are sad or that I'm crying or, you know, all of that, but maybe I should, because maybe other people will connect. I'm not always have a happy smile on my face. My granddaughter last night was just saying, I want her to look perfect. And I keep telling her, there is no perfect. Practice makes better. Practice doesn't make perfect, because we're always having to work on ourselves, you know. And my grandson too, these two little ones, my tacos, they have the craziest conversations. They're 5 and 8. So we're talking about, you know, grief and about passing and about death and stuff. And yesterday I laughed because, my grandson was like, it's okay. It's okay that we might lose this person. It's okay, because they'll always be with us, you know. And then my granddaughter, she got a doll, and it looks like Little Mermaid. And she was telling her brother, Ariel's real, right? Right, brother? Ariel's real, right? And he was like, well, no, mermaids aren't real. And I was like, hey, well, you know, you could say that. She goes, Grandma, are mermaids real? Is little Ariel real? And I was like, well, Disney seems to think so. But also, you know, we can say that it might not be real, but somebody can believe in it, just like ghosts, you know, or spirits. We can say that they're real, but some people might not believe in them. He's all, yeah, but you can never whistle in the nighttime. Don't ever whistle in the nighttime. I was like, so for people out there, you know, in my dad's way and our Taos way, we're not supposed to whistle. And a lot of different cultures way, you're not supposed to whistle because you're bringing spirits. And he's all, but those spirits are real. They're going to protect us. And I was like, geez, these two little ones that I have around me, they bring out patience, learning patience. They also bring out such great teachings and medicine that I need, that I didn't even know that I needed until I got here, because I usually spend my winters here with them, watching them while they're out of school. And just hearing their conversation and knowing that they learn from what I'm saying, and that they got to reach, take care of each other. You know, I just love their conversations. So that's something I wanted to share with you all. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Well, I just wanted to say, I actually is full circle, and I think, is it Justine? Is it? Yeah, you said something about rest, and so I'm wishing that for everyone, given that we're in winter, you know, phase where things are sleeping, and that we do take more time to rest this time. And that, you know, what I've learned about resting is that when we do rest, we have more creativity. We're in a place where we're also calm, and we're in a place where we're listening more. And so I hope during this time we all take some extra time in the day to take a little 20-minute power nap, or, you know, not this sense of urgency of like, we got to get this done. And I fall into that, and I have to check myself, or I have my partner or my children who will say, you know, it's going to be all right. I'm like, yeah, you're right. It's going to be all right. So I hope you all take some rest at this time and come into the next season with creativity, with love, and some self-compassion. Thank you so much, Jen.
Of course, yes. I'm so glad that we're all able to be here. Have compassion for sure, especially with ourselves, with others, but also with ourselves. Oh, Celestina. Hi, Celeste. Um, it's just so, whenever I see a person's name up that pop, if I catch it, because sometimes they pop up and I'm not paying attention. But it makes me so happy to know that like people that we know are actually watching. Oh yeah, so January 4th, which is actually a special day in Indigenous people. Um, April, do you want to share what January 4th is?
Go ahead. I'll let you.
Is Ribbon Skirt Day. Yay! So January 4th, everybody wear your ribbon skirts or send us pictures of your ribbon skirts and we'll put them up here. We'll be doing another one of these virtual gatherings, live events, live streams. And it'll be at 5:30 Pacific time, which will be Hawaii is only 2 hours, so for 3:30 Pacific time here for Hawaii. And then I'm trying to. I can't do the math for all the other time zones, so just 5:30 Pacific time. Okay, well, we're winding down now. We're getting ready to. Oh, hi, Lily and Tosh. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas to everybody. Oh, look, Vicky, you have a fan here. I am her snuggler. So we're
Thank you.
winding down. We're getting ready to go on with the rest of our day. Thank you, everybody, for joining us and listening to our chit chat, our stories, letting us all feel like this is a safe space where we can be transparent with tears, good tears, happy tears. And I'm gonna just say I'll see you in January for my end. And if anyone else wants to say anything, please do. But that'll be it for my portion. Anyone else want to say anything?
I'll just say, yeah, thank you so much, all of you. I appreciate you and what you bring and how you want to lift others that are listening and a part of this. And it's been a joy. I've enjoyed this and just felt like we're all hanging out at the cafe talking. So it was great.
It was great. Thank you. I also want to say happy holidays. Be safe, safe travels. Check in with people when you're on the road. I when I come to Vegas, there's different areas that individuals in my life want me to check in. It's usually like a 4-hour drive, so I usually check in at different spots, and I'm just thankful for those individuals. And, also when I'm driving, I'm not a big reader, but I love to listen to podcasts. So if you're driving, now's the time to listen to Vicky's podcasts and, just reflect. Thank you, Vicky, for being here. I really appreciate you and what you had to say. Thank you all for being here as well. We're going to go ahead and send out many blessings and just thank everybody for being here. And until next time, we'll see you in January. Happy holidays and Happy New Year. 2024, here we come. Bye, guys. We'll see you later.